All right, folks, we got our milk and cookies here. Cause we are milking this whole BioWare Dragon Age situation going on. Let me get a sip. More delicioso. So, Smash JT posted this interesting article I want to talk about. Shout outs to him. He said this was an exclusive that a BioWare employee contacted him. So, good on him, first of all. Major props. Now, going on, he says they were Endymion's source, right? Who made a video talking about BioWare. And there's a lot more that he didn't tell you about BioWare and how they're discriminating against men and hiring only ideological conformists. So they just want a whole bunch of wokies there. This is also something that is being talked about on that park place. So this is all from Endymion's video, but Smash is the one talking about his experience with this BioWare employee directly. So this is really interesting because a lot of people want to deny that there's DEI initiatives and woke ideologies and agendas being promoted, but it's true. So going on, he said, for those who saw his take on the situation in his recent video, it's worth clarifying that he was his original source because there was initially some confusion on his part surrounding it. Out of respect, Endymion initially held back on crediting him, thinking that he didn't want to be mentioned for some reason, but he let him know that the source that he got was asked to be kept private, not Smash himself. So that's all the thing, clarification here, right? So going on, he said an employee at BioWare reached out to him via DM from their official Twitter account, and that they could confirm from it that they were exactly who they claimed to be. From that, they scheduled a call, and this call ended up lasting nearly an hour long. And their voice was a mix of frustration and despair. They wanted to talk to them more about the situation going on at BioWare right now because they felt helpless to fight back alone. And from what they told them about BioWare today, it paints a dire picture of what it's like behind the scenes, claiming that the company is intentionally discriminating against men and selectively hiring individuals who parrot and embrace the ideology that the higher-ups demand. Now, we've seen this with other studios, like Firewalk Studios, which just had Concord, which was a major flop. We've seen it. All these offices, all these employees, they want a echo chamber. Even though they claim that they're diverse and all this crap, they're not. Now, they're going to say that this person personally reached out to them after watching their videos and emphasized the importance of speaking out against what he referred to as the woke virus that's run amok, infecting the entire gaming industry, promoting liberal, white, typically trans or queer women and holding down anyone else everywhere. And we've seen that time and time again, especially from these journalists. We've covered how much of this has infected the gaming industry to the point where it's almost sickening. It's almost concerning. Why are they targeting gaming? Why? We're the complete opposite. The majority of us consumers, we're males. We're all straight males, middle-aged, and they're wanting to put everything that we don't care about into our games. Like scenes in Dragon Age where they're getting on you about misgendering somebody. Why? I'll never understand it. But this goes on to say this insider disclosed that BioWare's corporate culture has become more woke than anyone could possibly imagine right now. According to him, the identity politics at play within the company are more intense than any current level of public perception suggests. And it's now reached a point where BioWare themselves is singularly focused on hiring based on gender and ideological compliance, which is kind of like what Ubisoft is doing right now, to be completely honest. And that he stated that men are excluded entirely from the conversations unless they identify some form of non-traditional gender or orientation. At BioWare, as I was told, they're only interested in hiring people they can control within the company. They want what can only be considered cultist, people who parrot and embrace the exact same ideology that the higher-ups at BioWare demand. Have a thought on a different direction to go? Question a female voice. Step out of the proverbial line, you're out. And yeah, that's pretty much what we've said, what we've been saying for quite some time. If you go against the grain, like at Firewalk Studios, you're going to get cut. You're going to get fired. And that's in all entertainment. If you step out of line, you're not going to be in the entertainment industry anymore. They're going to cut you out. They're going to blacklist you. I mean, look what happened with Melanie Mack. She's come out openly saying that she's lost so many opportunities that she once had with GameStop and all that because you're going against the grain. You're speaking up against all this woke virus that's infecting everything. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see that all these people promote cancel culture, and that if you're not thinking like them, if you even dare to have your own individual thought, you're casted out. It's really sad. And these are the people that claim to be tolerant, and that people that are rage baiters and grifters are the ones that are hateful and don't want diversity. No, these guys want an echo, like literally, like they want an echo chamber you must obey and consume. That's what they want. Now, this says the atmosphere at BioWare continued has grown more extreme since Corinne Busche took the directional helm for Dragon Age the Veilguard. According to their source, Bush's leadership style marked a huge change in atmosphere, giving preference to anyone who identifies as gender nonconforming. It intensified the focus further in ideological adherence over merit and talent. The shift has, according to him, deteriorated the studio's environment and completely eroded BioWare's once prestigious reputation in industry, one he's been a part of for over 4 years. And when I'm reading this, I'm thinking about all the people that have come to my channel and my comment section saying, oh, you just think stuff is woke and it's really not. This is literal like indoctrination here. Obey or get out. Oh, you're just an old guy crying about a video game. No one cares about. If you're having people come in and they're forcing a certain politically driven narrative down your throat, that doesn't belong at the workplace. That's a toxic environment. And it's everything that they try to claim that these grifters do at jobs. These white supremacists or these radical right, alt-right conservatives and crap. They're the ones who are radical. They're the ones that are the freaking dictators, right? It's concerning. And I thank God I don't ever have to deal with any of these people. I'd rather not work than deal with any of these people. Now, they further describe BioWare as a corpse being worn by EA, yes men filled with cult-like pandering weirdos. It wasn't anything like he had signed on for years ago. He even shared a personal story about how he was called to HR to discuss a situation that a female coworker at the office complained about him and made her feel uncomfortable in order to ensure her job was safe and, more importantly, hold him down below her, even though, according to him, he did nothing wrong at all. In a weird way, it could be described as a modern form of corporate slavery, and he has to obey the masters or face the punishment of being blackballed from the industry on the whole. It was a female employee who was clearly, visibly, mentally unhinged and would claim anything to get ahead. Sounds like a real fun work environment they put together over there. And that happens. That honestly happens. It happens because these females, no offense, are taught to hate men and that they're being oppressed and they're being sexualized. And, just saying hi to a woman now, they take it upon as somebody being misogynistic and showing their male privilege and all this bullshit. You can't even have like a direct conversation, and God forbid you're a supervisor over one of them, because then you have power dynamics and all this weird whack bullcrap as I eat my other piece of cookie. Because we're milking this situation, baby. Let's just do it. Now, continuing on, you can see that the insider noted that under this structure, BioWare's latest release, which is Veilguard, served less like an immersive RPG experience and more like a propaganda piece, aligning with the ideology of the company's leadership. They didn't care to make the game fun. The rewrite after rewrite, changing hands of the script, redoing work he had done over and over again each time, getting worse and worse from his perspective, but he put up with it because he was already so in deep with the project at that point. This game is, for all intents and purposes, genuine propaganda on the same level as Dustborn. And again, we looked at that cutscene, like literally in the middle of a whole fucking cutscene. You get lectured about misgendering somebody and pulling a barf and having to show that you're genuinely sorry by making yourself do push-ups. It's ridiculous, honestly. It's so out of touch, and they think that they're in touch, but they're not, because this modern audience does not exist, guys. This modern audience is bullcrap that does not exist. It's made up, and it's something to virtue signal about. It's something to be like, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. That whole cutscene was trash. Honest trash in that game. which is sad to see. And now that we're seeing user reviews come out, we're seeing how real gamers feel about it. Journalists are trying to say that legitimate reviews are the only ones that matter. So they're saying our opinion on games and any of this are invalid. Sure, it might be scoring high, but it doesn't invalidate our opinion about stuff that is being wrong about the studio or this game. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Now, they go on to say that basically it's just becoming a trend and that these issues are affecting the stability of the company and that there's growing talk within the company of incoming cutbacks. If this game doesn't make a profit, they're going to fire people and then they're going to blame gamers on it. And that no one feels comfortable right now at the company and it's a house of cards after nearly 10 years in development, scrapping the Dragon Age Dreadwolf game and starting over multiple times. EA is going to make some tough decisions. And according to the source, these are all tied to mismanagement and excessive focus on hiring practices that prioritize ideological alignment over skill. So basically DEI hires or oh, these guys are woke. They're not going to cause a ruckus with us, right? That's all it comes down to is, do you buy into what we're trying to push here? And now they're saying it's garnered a peak player count of just over 70,000 players on launch day. And while that's a respectable start, the company's alleged internal troubles are soon to overshadow any initial numbers. Keep in mind, this game is nearly a decade in the making, and those numbers aren't anywhere close to where they would need to be to sustain a company after sinking the money they did to the project. So let's take a look at Steam database right now. So yeah, 77,000 peak compared to Monster Hunter Wilds that came out had hundreds of thousands. So EA and BioWare, while your game is not entirely like a Concord flop, this is still rough to see. All right, the game can be as good as people claim or whatever. Suddenly people want to think IGN is credible with its scores. But 77,000 on a game this big that costed millions of dollars to make, a decade of development, I don't know. We'll see what happens. The user scores are out now, guys. But what do you think about this inside source? Good article by Smash JT. And of course, like I said, Park Place is covering it as well. Talking about Endymion's video where Smash was actually the inside source on here. And the call was there that was made by an employee. Again, this is a game that's been causing quite a dialogue. It's actually quite divisive. I've seen people come in saying the game's not woke. And 110% is. You know, the top surgery scars, again, was one thing. But that's optional. I could kind of sit back and ignore that. But when you have that cutscene, I'm like, nah, I'm done. And then you're hearing things about the studio, the employees. You're hearing about these inside sources. Again, it's all rumors. It's all stuff that is kind of under wraps. Who knows what's the truth? But I'm going to lean in to say that regardless of what, peaking in the 70,000s, that's some trouble here. And if the studio is in this much of a mess, they're going to blame gamers on it if this game doesn't turn a profit. So let me know your thoughts, guys, in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, take care.